Imagine you're in bed in the dead of night and suddenly the room is filled with a strange glowing light. You sit up thinking it's just a car passing by or a dream until the air starts to shimmer and beings from another dimension begin to step into your world. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, one man says it happened to him and his story has captivated believers, skeptics, and researchers for decades. This is the bizarre real-life story of Stan Romanek, a man who claims he didn't just see UFOs, but encountered beings from another dimension. Beings that have watched and followed him for years. His story is full of strange events, unexplainable encounters, and even physical evidence that might make you question reality itself. So, could Stan have really met interdimensional beings? Or is this just an elaborate hoax? It all started in 2000. Stan Romanek, a seemingly ordinary guy living in Colorado, had his first brush with the unexplained when he noticed strange lights hovering in the sky. At first he didn't think much of it, maybe it was a plane or a satellite, but these lights weren't behaving like anything normal. They seemed to follow him almost intelligently, darting around in ways that defied logic. Over the next few weeks, things only got stranger. Stan started hearing weird noises at night, his electronics would malfunction for no reason, lights would flicker, radios would switch stations on their own, and even his phone started acting up. Then one night, everything changed. Stan woke up to a strange humming sound, a low vibrating noise that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. He sat up in bed and that's when he saw it, a glowing portal at the foot of his bed. Now this wasn't a UFO, it wasn't even the stereotypical gray alien you might expect. No, this was something entirely different. Out of the portal stepped shadowy figures, humanoid in shape, but their forms were distorted, like they were flickering between realities. They didn't speak, but somehow Stan knew what they were saying to him. Instead, he felt an overwhelming sense of calm wash over him, almost as if these beings were communicating telepathically. Stan's story didn't end with one encounter, though. Over the next several years, he reported multiple visits from these beings. But here's where it gets interesting. According to Stan, these weren't your average extraterrestrials. He wasn't dealing with little green men from Mars. He claimed these were interdimensional travelers. They didn't come from a far-off planet, but from another dimension, slipping between worlds to observe and study us. And they weren't just watching Stan from a distance. Oh no, they were interacting with him in ways that left physical evidence. Stan claims that after each encounter, he would wake up with strange marks on his body. Marks that resembled complex symbols like hieroglyphics or runes. He also said he experienced missing time, often waking up hours later with no memory of what had happened. Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking, okay, this all sounds crazy, but where's the evidence? Well, here's where Stan's story gets a little more complicated. Over the years, Stan has amassed a collection of what he claims is hard evidence to back up his story. This includes photographs, videos, and even audio recordings of his encounters. One of the most famous pieces of evidence comes from a video Stan recorded in 2003. In the footage, a strange translucent figure can be seen peeking into his window. Stan believes this figure is one of the interdimensional beings that has been following him for years. The video went viral among UFO enthusiasts, with many claiming it's the clearest footage of an alien encounter ever recorded, but skeptics aren't so sure. Some say the figure is nothing more than a hoax, a puppet, or a trick of the light. And then there's the physical evidence. Over the years, Stan has submitted multiple photos of strange marks on his body, as well as symbols that appeared around his home after an encounter. He even claims that some of these marks were tested by scientists who couldn't explain how they got there. But despite all this evidence, there's still a big question. Is it real? As you might expect, Stan's story has attracted its fair share of skeptics. Some researchers have pointed out inconsistencies in his accounts, and others have suggested that the so-called evidence is easily faked. In fact, several investigators have analyzed his videos and found that they could have been staged with simple tricks or editing. One of the biggest controversies surrounding Stan's story is his arrest in 2014. He was charged with possession of child, a charge he vehemently denies, claiming it was part of a government smear campaign to discredit his story. Whether or not that's true, the arrest has cast a shadow over his credibility, and many have distanced themselves from his claims. But here's where things get interesting again. Even with all the controversy, Stan's story has sparked a huge following among believers in UFOs and interdimensional beings. There are entire online communities dedicated to discussing his experiences, and many people have come forward with their own stories. Lending some credibility to his claims, could they all be lying, or is there something more going on here? So what exactly did Stan experience? If we assume for a moment that his story is real, what are the possibilities? Some researchers believe Stan may have experienced sleep paralysis, a condition where a person wakes up but can't move, often accompanied by hallucinations of shadowy figures or strange beings. This could explain some of his encounters, especially the ones that occurred at night, but sleep paralysis doesn't explain the lights in the sky, the strange markings, or the physical evidence he claims to have. Others think that Stan might have tapped into something much stranger. If we entertain the idea of interdimensional beings, we're talking about entities that could exist outside of our understanding of space and time. These beings might be able to move between dimensions, slipping in and out of our reality as easily as we walk through a door. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Did Stan really encounter interdimensional beings? Or is this all one big hoax? Thanks for watching, and as always, stay weird.